Primetime Seniors is brought to you by Home Helpers, committed to keeping you safe and independent at home.
Welcome to Primetime Seniors, living for today, making choices for tomorrow. I'm Allie McNair, and we're coming to you from the Old South Golf Links. It is April. You know what that means? It's time for the Heritage Tournament, and that inspires all golfers to get out there and do the best that they can on the golf course. We're going to have some great information to help you do just that. Coming up on today's show, Debbie Morris with Home Helpers will be speaking with Andy Bush of Inspired Tech Solutions about the various new ways to keep in touch with family and friends. Dr. Joseph Haven with Spine and Joint Care Associates will tell us how their integrated approach to wellness can help treat and prevent golf injuries. And we'll be visiting the Rankin Center to learn about their new sports division and how they help golfers with the 7 mental challenges of golf. Joining me now is head professional Jim Yaremovich here at Old South Golf Links. Jim, for people that have been playing golf for a while, our seniors that watch the program, I'm including myself, 50 plus years of age, we get to a certain point in our golf game and we can't seem to get any better. What is the best advice, do you think, to those people?
Myself being a senior now, I'm 53, and I've got kind of stagnant with my game. I found what's helped me the most is working on my putting and my short game. And by short game, I mean from about 100 yards in. It's pretty much, a lot of times I don't have time to practice, so if I do have a half hour, 20 minutes, I'll go to the back of the driving range and hit wedges and sand wedges and do some putting.
Is that because you find people will get the most improvement as far as number of strokes because of what they're doing on the putting green and short game around the green?
Exactly, you're right. If you take the statistics for golf and you take a golfer that shoots, say, 80, and he counts his putts, it's probably 35 to 30 putts around, and that's almost half his shots. And then you find him on 90% of his practices with his driver, so it seems to me that they're probably practicing the wrong club.
Oh, that's really good advice. Old South Golf Links is a public course.
That's correct.
It's a beautiful course. What about what you have to offer here? Let's talk about the driving range, first of all, which is behind us.
Right. Well, we have a full driving range with about 20 hitting areas. We have a putting green, and at the back of our driving range, we have 2 sand traps and 2 practice greens, and also a full driving range, which is most of the time we leave it for private instruction and some of our members.
Now, when you talk about the short game, you just mentioned the sand traps. How crucial is it to really get good at hitting out of the traps?
Well, if you live in the South and you go to all the golf courses down here, there's probably, I don't know how many traps we have, probably about 50. So there's a good chance that you're going to be in a few during the day. So it's very critical to have a decent sand game.
What about signature holes here at the golf course? Any that really stand out or people will come and play 18 and really appreciate?
Probably our signature courses is number 8, which 7 and 8 are intercoastal views, which we have about 4 or 5 of those. It's beautiful out there. If you've never been out there, there's about 4 or 5 holes out there that are just beautiful. Absolutely.
Any kind of specials going on that you want to let our viewers know about, this being the month of April?
Okay, well, we have a special for our rack rate right now, which is $95. It includes lunch or breakfast and driving range balls. Or, we give a $10 token and they can use it for whatever they'd like. So,
any final thought you want to leave with people that play golf and really want that golden tip to getting better?
I think something that goes unnoticed is probably the type of equipment that you use, from the shaft to the club head or whatever, into what kind of game that you have. And also a lot of people I see, numerous people come in and all they want to do is buy a Titleist golf ball, and they really don't know what type of product that they're playing with, and they're probably using the wrong product. So I think that's something that kind of goes unnoticed is the equipment. But, just go in a shop and ask your local PGA professional, and any one of us would be glad to help you out.
I think that's great advice. Jim Yaremovich, I want to thank you so much for your time here at Old South Golf Links.
Well, thank you for coming out. And like I say, it's a public course, and we do cater to the locals. We always have a local special with a Beaufort County driver's license. It's $45.
Wow.
So you can't beat that. I mean, around this time of year when it's very expensive to play, and we hope you come out and visit us, and look forward to seeing you.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Now, when you have that great round of golf, you love to tell family and friends. In the old days, what'd you do? You picked up the phone and said, hey, guess what? Well, now there's so many ways to communicate. Debbie Morris of Home Helpers speaks to Andy Bush of Inspired Tech Solutions about those options.
Andy, I'm glad to have some time to chat with you about using technology to stay in touch with friends and family. At Home Helpers, we have a lot of seniors that are losing touch with their family, especially their grandchildren. And I even see my mom is on Facebook, so she's always communicating with her grandkids who are living in Mexico, Nashville, DC, wherever they are, she's in touch with them. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Facebook, but there are some other options too besides Facebook. But let's start with Facebook. What is it?
Facebook is, and I'm glad you brought it up, it's a terrific site. It is a social networking site. It's a way that people can network and communicate with their friends and family regarding what's going on in their lives. In essence, you sign up for an account, a free account. It's, again, just to emphasize, it's free and it's very, very easy to use. So you sign up for an account, and then what you do is you can post quick snippets of what's going on in your life, whether, say, you just went on a cruise and you just returned from it, or you just went and saw your granddaughter's high school basketball game, and you can type a little bit about that, and then it'll appear on this Facebook page. And what that does is it allows other people who have Facebook pages as well to keep track of what's going on with your life.
But now, if it's my page, I can control who can see it.
Exactly.
And what they can see. Like,
precisely.
I know that my niece posts a lot of photos that I enjoy seeing because they're all about her senior year in high school, but not everybody has access to that because we've tried to warn her that she needs to keep some things a little more private.
That's exactly right. There's something called friending, which is you make a Facebook friendship. So if you and I were both to go onto our Facebook pages, if we had just met now and we were speaking later, I could make you a friend on Facebook. That would allow you access to see everything that's going on my page. And a page, try to think of it as like a bulletin board of the things that are happening in your life. You can put up information about yourself, photos. If you're kind of tech savvy, you could put up some videos of something you like. And it's just a way of letting people see what's going on with you. Now, the marvelous thing about this is, after you acquire 2 or 3 friends, and say 6 months or a year goes by, you may have 200 friends that are checking in on you. 200 friends that you can check in on and see what's going on with their lives. So it's a very wonderful, unintrusive way of communicating, as opposed to something like a phone call where both parties have to take time out to speak to each other. You can just very quickly check in on what's happening with your friends and family, see what's going on with your grandkids, and you can let them know what's going on with you.
And it doesn't require that the 2 people are on the line on the internet at the same time.
Not at all.
Now, let's just go to something even a little more involved. For me it was, and that was Skype or Google video chat, something like that. I know that when I travel and I want to check in with Home Helpers, we'll set up a time and we'll talk to each other over the computer, but I can see them and they can see me, and it's, I don't know, it's cheap, it's free, and it's fun. So, but now my business partner is starting to Skype with his grandson up in Virginia. I've never Skyped. What is Skyping?
Skyping, it's also known as video conferencing. And basically what it is if you remember the old sci-fi pictures of the 50s where you would have a monitor.
Judy Jetson.
There you go. You would have a monitor of somebody's face and you would be speaking to the monitor. That's exactly what it is. So it's that technology has actually come about. It's been around it's been commonly used for about 5 years, but it's really, really taking off now.
And does it require a lot of expense in getting the equipment for it, or is it pretty basic?
Well, that's one of the wonderful things about the time that we live in, is there are a lot of free services and a lot of equipment's very cheap. What you'll need is a webcam, a camera to allow you to be filmed, and the person at the other end obviously has to have all of these things as well. And you have to have a computer, and then you have to set up an account with Skype, with their website. And it's extremely easy to do. The website is free to sign up for video conferencing with Skype. The camera, I think at their bottom, is about $40. So you're looking at minimal cost.
Well, and if you have a laptop, I didn't know this until I started using it, but that little circle at the top of my laptop is a camera.
That's right.
So that's easy to do. So Facebook is an option, Skype or something like that would be an option. What's another option?
Well, the one that's most commonly used, and it's been around the longest, is email. And email stands for electronic mail. Basically, it's essentially the same as the process of letter writing, which we've all done for years. But instead of it going into the post, it's sent electronically. And instead of taking a week to get wherever it's going, it's in there in an instant, basically.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And it doesn't cost 44 cents for a letter or for an email.
Right.
It costs nothing.
And the other nice thing about it is you can write one letter, but you can send it to multiple numbers of people.
That's exactly
at
right.
the same time.
If you wanted to update people on, say you had a health condition and you wanted to let all the members of your family know about it, you could send an email to multiple addresses.
Right.
So instead of writing 10 letters, you write one letter and send it to 10 people. Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, free and easy.
So no reason at all that we shouldn't all be communicating with everybody in our lives. Thank you, Andy.
My
That was
pleasure.
very interesting. We'll have to do it again and learn more detail of some of it. Maybe we can Skype. We're already
love it.
Facebook friends, so now we'll have to be Skypers.
Terrific.
Stay tuned for more with Primetime Seniors.
Welcome back to Primetime Seniors. Golf is a great form of exercise, also a natural stress reliever, but it really can be tough on the spine, causing back injuries. Joining me now to talk more about that and other injuries that can result from golf, Dr. Joseph Haven of Spine and Joint Care Associates. Now, I mentioned the back, which is one we think of with golf injuries, but other areas of the body can be susceptible to injury when you go out and play around too, right?
Absolutely. It's really a function of the repetitive stress and torque that the golf swing puts on the body. So as you mentioned, it certainly creates neck problems, mid-back problems, low back, pelvic problems, but it also puts a lot of stress on the elbows, the shoulders, even the wrists on impact, as well as the knees, and even we've seen even patients in players that have foot problems.
Really? Now, what do you do when someone comes in with an injury that is specific to playing golf?
Well, every patient starts with a thorough examination, and then we would use the appropriate diagnostic tools, x-rays. We have diagnostic ultrasound, which can actually go in and look at ligaments and tendons to see if there's been a tear or inflammation or irritation. And then based on our findings, we then formulate a care plan. And as you know, we have an integrated center here where we offer medical services along with chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, and therapy. So we would then formulate a plan that was appropriate to correct whatever the findings were in our initial exam and diagnostics.
What about preventing an injury in the first place before you go out to play around a golf?
Well, what most people don't realize is the majority of injuries are not really caused by an accident. If you drive your golf cart off into a ravine, then obviously you've created an injury due to an accident. Or if you get hit in the head with a golf ball, that's different. But the majority of golf-related injuries are really due to misalignments or imbalances, misalignments in the spine or unbalanced muscles. So when you then go out and go through that repetitive motion, you're continually stressing those joints that aren't aligned properly or muscles that aren't balanced properly. And that repetition eventually is going to cause some form of irritation. So a patient or player might be, halfway through a round of golf and suddenly start feeling pain in their elbow. Well, it wasn't that last swing that created the injury. It's been building up, and finally it reached a threshold where it's causing irritation. So the key there is keeping it in the correct alignment.
Sure. Now, as far as the golf game goes, everybody wants to improve, take a few strokes off their game. Chiropractic care, is that something that, as part of a plan, is going to help a golfer do that?
We sure think so. Most professional golfers receive chiropractic care. Most professional athletes do. The top golfers travel with their chiropractors.
Really?
Absolutely. So when you create the correct alignment, you increase range of motion, you increase flexibility, and it's only common sense if a patient is playing with more flexibility without pain, they're going to play better. So the joke in our office is when they come in, we'll take 3 strokes off their game, and we say that jokingly, but in many cases, patients do come back saying that they're playing much better golf.
I'm sure they love hearing that when you make that promise, and they're probably thrilled when it actually happens. It's a joke, but it works. So, Dr. Joseph Haven, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's always great to get some information from you.
Thank you.
And we are going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to stop by at the Rankin Center to find out about the 7 mental challenges of golf. Stay right there. Welcome back to Primetime Seniors. We are coming to you from the Rankin Center. I am with Bob Collar, who is the Executive Vice President of the Sports Division. Now, in an earlier episode of Primetime Seniors, we spoke with Dr. Rankin about mapping the brain. And I want to ask you, Bob, how is the Sports Division connected with the Rankin Center or with the whole notion of mapping the brain?
Interesting story. A couple of years ago, I was upstate playing in a senior golf tournament, and it got delayed, rain delay for about a day. Everybody was sitting around a table complaining about focus, getting back on the course, their attention span, back issues, some physical, of course, but nobody was what they used to be, couldn't hold their focus. After the tournament was over, I'm driving back, and I thought of Dr. Johnson, Wayne Johnson, who has a love of psychology, the mental side of sports. I went in to see him. I said, "Doc, you missed your calling, and I've got a great scenario for you." I was explaining what happened at the tournament and what I thought could take place with the golfers, specifically seniors. And he said, "Well, you need to talk to Dr. Rankin because he's interested in working with athletes and specifically seniors." Make a long story short, I come over, met Dr. Rankin. We talked for about 3.5 hours that day and came up with the Rankin Center Sports Division.
Well, what's involved really then with improving a golfer's mental game or getting them focused?
When you're a senior, you typically lose some of your focus, attention over the years. Younger players, some have trouble more so than others. The reason for that is no matter what you're doing, nobody's brain is normal, in the sense that in the various lobes of the brain, there's various beta, iota, theta waves going on, some too many, too much for like the right frontal lobe. That houses the anxiety, the emotional stress, anger, that sort of thing. Depending on your brain mapping and your cognitive testing here at the center, Dr. Rankin then calibrates the neurofeedback for specifically that area of your brain that is producing too many waves, an area of your brain not producing enough waves, and either quelches them or brings them up somewhat, more normalizing that activity in that region of the brain. And it's been very successful. We initially got we're really a step beyond sports psychology, because sports psychology is talking about what you should be doing. Deep breathing, visualization, that kind of thing. And there's certainly a place for that. We still employ that. But nobody receives, processes, or implements information the same. What we try to do is normalize the activity in the brain so you're more apt to be able to receive, process, and implement any of that information that you can. Once we've gone through the neurofeedback, we do 10 sessions of that, do another brain map to see just how it's working. Then we go from there. You may need more neurofeedback, or we may recommend an entrainment device, which is a portable neurofeedback. And been very, very successful. Tremendous results with seniors. We've recently, there was a lady that came in, could no longer drive at night. not to belabor any points, but she's now driving at night. We've had seniors that have been concerned with dementia. Came in, we've been able to improve their focus, their attention, their memory. And getting back to the sports division, we've had great success on the course. Anger issues, just the best thing for an athlete at any level is to be able, in any sport, to stay in the now, stay in the moment. And we've been able to accomplish that with a lot of our clients.
Now, I know you have a video available. We're almost out of time, so I want to make sure we get to the fact that people can take a look at the video. How do they get a hold of that and more information on this whole process?
Our website's www.scienceofyou.com, drrankin.com, the Rankin Center. We've got various websites where our product line and merchandise is available. We would love them to call the center as well, 842-7797, or if you're specifically interested in the sports aspect of the center, you can call me, 816-0898. Be glad to talk to anyone.
Bob Collar, great. It has been wonderful talking to you. I want to thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having us.
And we want to thank you for watching this edition of Primetime Seniors, and also a big thank you to all those involved with this edition. Dr. Joseph Haven with Spine and Joint Care Associates, Old South Golf Links, Andy Bush with Inspired Tech Solutions, and of course Debbie Morris with Home Helpers. Until next time, live Primetime, seniors.